Now, I want to conclude with a few slides talking about something important that almost no one else is discussing: the relationship between the microbiome and bile acids. I talk about this in other videos, C. diff, liver health, and TUDCA, and we'll touch on it here. Why? Because bile acid dysmetabolism is a key factor in those who are dysbiotic, and the epitome of dysbiosis is a C. diff infection. But that's a misnomer. C. diff is not a problem for the healthy, but is a problem when the checks and balances are broken. With antibiotic use, as we've now established, we kill off the good guys and ultimately the bad guys thrive. One of the things that these good guys do is metabolize bile acids. The first step is simple hydrolysis. About a quarter of your species can do this. The second step is dehydroxylation to convert primary bile acids to secondary. About 0.0001% of your microbiome possesses the gene to make this complex enzyme. An imbalance between primary and secondary creates an environment to enable germination and growth of C. diff. And this balance is determined by your microbiome, which is in turn determined by a few factors, in this case, antibiotics being of paramount importance. So our simplistic takeaway from the previous slide is primary bile acids bad, secondary bile acids good. It's largely the good guys who convert the primaries to secondaries. And when there are too many primaries, taurocolate to be specific, then C. diff may do terrible things. In this study, the use of vancomycin skyrocketed primary bile acids and plummeted secondaries. How? By killing off or sidelining the good guys who make this conversion. Please read the highlighted text for more reinforcement of everything I've been saying. To continue with bile acids in these Finnish children, macrolide use was associated with a 10-fold increase in the troublesome genus Agrathella. And as you can see in figure D, as time passed, the genes which direct the production of bile salt hydrolase took many months to recuperate. Again, from our previous slide, BSH, bile salt hydrolase, was the first step prior to converting primary to secondary bile acids. So even though some 25% of your microbiome possesses this gene, this too takes a hit from antibiotics use. The authors go on to state that it took 2 years for some aspects of the microbiome to recover after one single round of this antibiotic. Yes, the microbiome impacts bile acid metabolism, but bile acids impact the microbiome as well. So when you have the combination of bile acid dysmetabolism and dysbiosis, it's difficult to correct your gut. Which is why I so often hear from people, I eat healthy, but I just can't get any better. Yeah, I know, because you've done damage that's hard to reverse, and you need the help of someone who knows how to reverse it. And when we talk candida, which many people with dysbiosis have in spades, we see this paper in A and B that the secondary good bile acids, LCA and DCA, inhibited Candida albicans growth in vitro. To continue with the same paper, additionally here in a different A and B, these secondary bile acids also significantly inhibited the germ tube, hyphae, and biofilm formation in C. albicans. In other words, they made C. albicans less virulent. An altering of bile acids is critically important for the microbiome. This is how C. diff is able to be highly pathogenic and kill some people, while for the rest of us, we have no symptoms. It's the cycle of antibiotics, the killing off of butyrate producers, dysbiosis, the resultant inflammation, gut permeability, and bile acid dysmetabolism, which is at the root cause of not only C. diff, but everything I talk about. It's all connected. You can read the author's quote here, which says much of the same thing.